What's up, everybody? Ben Samulak here. I'm here with a special guest today, David Duford. Thanks, David, for taking time to come and do this interview with us.
Thanks, Ben.
So this is a little different. I just did a video with Dave on his channel, so go check that out about another IMO, if you want to get some insight and some different content on that. But I wanted Dave to come on my channel and really just get to know who he is, okay? I think a lot of people have gotten help from his videos. I have, being in the insurance industry. You're one of the first videos I saw out there when I was trying to find real information about the business. You and Cody Atkins was one, and there's some other guys, but you're one of the top ones. I think that, when you're looking for information, your name pops up. So yeah, just wanted to get to know more of David Duford, who you are. I know a lot of your videos
Sure.
are content on the business, and you're trying to help people on your business. DavidDuford.com, right? You're building a business, and so a lot of that stuff is what we see. But I wanted to know more about Dave. Like, are you married, kids? Where'd you grow up? Just what got you even interested in this industry and brought you into it? So tell us just a little bit about yourself, Dave.
Sure. Yeah. So I started in the insurance business in 2011. I was married and had one son at the time. I got into it out of an act of desperation. I
Hmm.
had a personal training gym at the time, and the Great Recession took its toll on discretionary income based business models. You didn't have to buy a gym membership to survive. So my whole business collapsed, and I was looking for an opportunity,
Hmm.
and none really arrived other than insurance. And the last thing I ever thought I would ever do is sell insurance. But when push
Hmm.
comes to shove, you do things that you don't expect to. And I stumbled across the final expense business, which is burial insurance. I loved it. It was very activity focused, more transactional, less long term sales cycle. And you dealt with older people, which I enjoy. And I had my fair share of success in my first 6 to 12 months and failure. I actually failed out of the business in my first 12 months.
Wow.
Went and got my first real job at 26 or 27 at Aramark selling uniform services, and realized really quick what my life would look like if I didn't get my entrepreneurial act together. And so I got back in the final expense part time for about a year before going full time and then quitting the job forever.
Okay.
Uh, from that point on, I started building an agency. That was my next level to expand my income through the helping of other people who wanted to be successful in final expense like me. And there's been some deviations along the way. We did a little Medicare, a little ACA, little annuities here and there. But fast forward to 2025, our primary business model is final expense telesales, where we provide the leads for free. There's no MLM recruitment nonsense with us. All we care about is training agents to become top producers.
Cool.
And it's going fantastic as far as a little bit of just random stuff. I am a jujitsu purple belt. That's what I do in my
Wow.
spare time. Enjoy it. And I am a Porsche 911 Turbo S owner. So
Ooh,
I
nice.
love fast cars. So
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, I had the Porsche 911 Matchbox car. So that was always a a
yeah,
dream
yeah.
car.
So
Now,
it's kind of like my dream car. So that's what I drive around.
what about then? I see a lot of people trying to get into the business. And like I said, you among a very few that I see dominating more of the presence on, it's not like we have a huge, subscriptions or view base, but there are certain people who are, you could see that are have, and my question to you is like how, what do you think is the thing that has pushed you to be someone who's on the top in the industry? I'm sure whatever industry you did, you probably would be up there. Like you seem like an ambitious guy, a hard worker. Like, did that come from your parents, or did it come from certain things in your life that pushed you to become that person who really seems like you want to be successful, you want to be kind of on
Sure.
top of whatever you're doing?
Whenever I don't do a lot of motivational videos, I'm much more matter of fact. Let's talk about the business and how you can learn skills to sell. But
Hmm.
the few that I do, I like to talk about. I and it sounds kind of corny, but I've always had a sense of destiny that I would be successful. I
Hmm.
have the privilege of, I grew up in my mom was single, my dad divorced when I was 3, but I had this weird family dynamic where my mom was a nurse, and weren't ever felt poor, but we weren't rich. But my dad ran a chemical business.
Hmm.
I didn't know him. He didn't really spend any time with me growing up, but he built this incredible business. And the men in my life on my mother's side and father's side, we're all very successful in their own ways. And so I felt like it's kind of like an extension of, it's in the blood, man. Like I
Yeah.
have to be successful. And that's always been kind of a back, it's like the thing in the back of my mind that drives me forward is I have to honor the family name. So there's kind of that drive, I think, in me. And I've been around it and I kind of know the reality of success, that it takes a long time of
Hmm.
struggle and strife before you start to really crack at it.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, the only thing I can attribute my success specifically in agency building and YouTube is that the core tenet of what I do, and if there's anything that any of you all take from this, no matter what it is that you do in your life, is that I have always never had a problem giving without expectation. All of my content is designed to help people without them necessarily even have to work with me.
Hmm.
And I know I've had a positive impact on thousands of agents' lives that aren't even with me. I don't even make money off these people.
Yeah.
But what I've also equally known is that that literally is the best marketing strategy you can deploy. It's
Yeah.
not instant results, but if you actually stick with it for a decade, what I've been able to build, and I'm not special, I just recognize this and tapped into it as a brand that's based on that. And the
Yeah.
amount of goodwill that I've built
Yeah.
is substantial just by trying to help.
Yeah.
And that's what any advice selling insurance, building a YouTube channel, running an agency, if you have that in your heart and you execute on that and you stick with it for years, like eventually, you will rise above the competition because of that commitment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then siblings, was it just you, or do you have, is it also, was there rivalries among the siblings that pushed you to be, more competitive person, more?
No, no, I'm an introvert and I'm a firstborn. My brother is from another dad, and that dad was lazy, and so is my brother. I love John,
Hmm.
but that's how he is. And then my other brother and half brother, half sister, I don't really know very well, and they don't really have the same competitive. I'm not very competitive, but like this, like disciplined approach to doing well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's more with my uncle, my grandfather, and my father. We're kind of more of the bigger people to emulate
Yeah, the work
that I
ethic,
picked up
that,
from.
yeah, maybe not as competitive, but more work ethic of trying to have the success you have got upon yourself. And I see more coming, but you definitely stand out above most people. So in that sense, you do have some success, I believe. And even you doing this interview with me, I feel that's, that like that it testifies to what you're saying of just trying to help people. And I got a lot of help from a lot of your content when I first started, like I
Good.
said. So I'm one of the people that you're talking about that got help and got stirred in the right direction in different ways. So, and then, like you said, I know this might be touchy, but you said when you started, you were married and had a kid. Are you still single? Are you single? Are you married? Like, what's the status for
No, no,
for the for the for
my
the
wife
women out
is
there?
my wife is still with me.
Okay, good.
Um,
Okay. So sorry,
I've
ladies.
I have added more people to the gene pool. I have four
Okay.
kids now instead of
Oh,
one.
wow.
All girls, unfortunately. I hope
Oh,
for
are
one
you
more son,
serious?
but
All
I'm happy with what
girls.
I got. I am thankful. I really am. I'm just kind of kidding. So
Wow. Okay,
yeah,
that's
no, it's
awesome.
been good. My wife actually didn't support me at all in my business endeavors, and I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the biggest employer here is TVA, Tennessee Valley Association, right? And so it's power generation, and they're notorious for having very good paying jobs and a lot of time off. And my wife is always like, "You should get a job like the next door neighbor, make six figures." But I couldn't imagine working in a job that just has no creative element into it and didn't really
Yeah.
have this potential for a huge payoff. And so, she resisted, but went along for the longest time. And it took a while before she started seeing the fruits of it. And that's kind of how leadership is in this business. Like I tell a lot of guys that, like, you're going to be alone. Leadership means you're kind of leading and people will follow, which means they won't necessarily agree with you,
Yeah.
but you still have to have that tenacity to believe in your vision. And eventually they follow, if you
Yeah.
follow through and show that you're serious. And that certainly was the case with us.
And that's good she did. I'm glad she did let you back you so that like you said now in this time all these people have gotten help and are getting help and potentially changing a lot of people's lives with coming under you and getting help from you and potentially having success as an agent too. So yeah, so good. Glad she eventually let you go in this direction. Now
My
what
aunt,
about
my aunt actually warned her. It's funny. There was a story my wife told me after we got married, and she said, "Your aunt took me on a walk when we visited my uncle, who he co-started XM radio back in the 90s. And my aunt walked with her and said, you know what you're getting into with these men in this family. They all work like crazy, and it's very tough on the women, and that's how grandma was, and that's how I am. And I was like, well, I didn't know that. She
Like,
warned
wow,
her though.
thanks.
So
Thanks, Auntie. What about any, like, give me a story, like you've been in the industry a long time now. What are like one of the worst, stories of something that happened to you, something bad in the business? Because a lot of people are getting into it. They're gonna have obstacles. They're gonna have things happen. What's something that potentially almost took you out, or just really,
yeah.
potentially was really hardship in this business, something you experienced?
So back to that first failure, it was my only failure, but that was really looking back like instrumental in the direction ultimately to be successful. But what I did at that time to cause failure, the biggest problem was is I got away from the fundamentals. So at the time, Final Expense was largely sold door to door. We would send off direct mail postcards and we'd get them back, reply cards, and then door knock or set appointments. And I got to this point after having some success. And I had also had some prior marketing experience in my personal training gym. And I thought, you know what? This whole approach to getting leads sucks. You deal with these people who think it's Uncle Sugar giving free life insurance benefits, and it's frustrating. And my head got bigger than reality. And I said, you know what? I'm going to create this new lead piece, totally untested, nothing that proved that would work. And I really didn't have the money to properly test it and then fail. Like you should be able to make an investment that at least get your money back, or that you're okay with losing, especially early on. And so I did it. I got some sales off of it, but for the money I put into the leads, I could have gotten way more sales off of the boring, drab leads that I disdained over this brand new thing. And so that in part contributed towards me losing a lot of money,
Hmm.
not staying ahead of my bills. And the night I quit, I I had a lady, we preset an appointment. She asked for a call back to confirm that I'd be there or be coming. Never call them back, by the way, just show up as pro tip on set appointments. And I called her and she said, oh, somebody else just stopped by and I bought from him. And I was like devastated.
That was it.
And I emotionally divorced myself from the business. And I went home and I had $94 in my bank account. Then I had to go admit to my wife that, which is the worst of it all, that I should have listened to her. Oh God.
Oh
Maybe I
no.
should have gotten that job at TVA. So what's funny, I'll add this in here because it's interesting. So we get these repeat offenders, people who fill out cards multiple times. So the same
Yeah.
lady that denied me the visit I just talked about sending another card. So this time I just drive by. This is like 2 years after I restarted. And I talked to her son and I said, hey, did your mom buy life insurance? And he said, no, she's never owned life insurance. I said, that's funny because I called her and we were supposed to sit down and talk. And she said she bought. And he's like, oh, yeah, she's got dementia. She says the craziest things. So I was like thinking, like, man, like I emotionally was destroyed over somebody who wasn't even their own right mind.
Wow.
And it's interesting, a lot of these things reinforce how you respond to adversity,
Yeah.
and controlling your emotions is probably the most critical element because getting through that first couple of years is the hardest thing about this business. It was for me, at least. It's for a lot of agents. But once you get past that, you kind of have some expectations, some predictability in the business, and you're not as much a roller coaster emotionally. And if you can, the sooner you can master that, the easier, quote unquote, the business gets, which
Yeah.
is really important.
Yeah, that's great advice. I know I would get people swearing at me sometimes, and just like, cuss me out and put me down, and it would, for a minute there, it would take me back, but then I thought to myself, like, no, I'm not going to let this guy, deviate me from my goals and take food off my table of my wife and kids, and you just can't let that stuff, yeah, like stop you from achieving your goals. And
Well,
like,
God bless them. They
yeah,
they were already a jerk before they talked to you. Like it's nothing. And this is what I tell agents: like they're rejecting your offer, not you. They don't know who you are. They can't make a judgment on you,
yeah,
and they're probably that way by default. Like you didn't
with
do
everybody.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're just the dog proverbially they kick.
yeah,
Because they're
yeah,
frustrated in their life, and that's part of your role as a salesperson. It's not that you can ever get away from that entirely, but you need to, on some level, accept that abuse is going to happen and learn how to not take it personally. Because if you can overcome that, boy, you're miles ahead of 90% of people who the first time they hear somebody tell them to F off,
Yeah.
they just crumble. You know, like
Yeah.
if you just realize it's nothing and move on, that is a secret weapon, a cheat code
Yeah, that
to be
is. That's great
successful in this
advice.
business.
That's great. Now, all right, last thing, David, I'll ask you because I know you got a lot of things you got going on, so and I appreciated you coming on here, but tell me something that you could if you all these years of what you've done, and I know you've given a lot of good pointers and advices, or anything you want to tell people or you think could be helpful to people that from all your learning and where you are at today, whether it's for life, whether it's just for the insurance business, for anything, like what do you feel you can tell people just to help encourage them or give them some way to like have some more potential success in their life. Yeah, just something in your life that you've experienced or learned that you can pass on to help other people.
I can only recommend things that have worked for me. So I'm uniquely sharing my own experiences, but looking back, I think if you know these and believe these sooner in the game, the better off you're going to be, and hopefully faster along the process of seeing the kind of success you want. And again, as this may dismay some people, but for me, my income, it was like this first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, and then sixth and beyond, it became like the hockey stick. And if you look up like the hockey stick income increase, like that's actually a thing with many businesses. Is you would like to think your income is going to be linear and it'll just gradually increase, but it's more of like an exponential curve where after 5 to 10 years, if you stick with it, you grow, your income becomes very substantial. And so that's how it was with me. The first 5 to 10 years, really the first 5 years, they were good, but it wasn't like great. But then in 5 to 10 years, it's fantastic. So what does that mean? You've got to stick with it. Don't give up. Success is slow in this business. This is a get rich slow business. Um, what else? Geez, learn how to actually sell this stuff before you recruit. I think you and I were talking essentially the same discussion on the last video.
Yeah.
Don't fall for the MLM stuff. Really focus on learning the craft of selling. And if you decide you want to sell one or recruit one day, guess what? If you're good at what you do, people will come to you and want to learn from you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So keep that in mind too, as well. And please live below your means. If you come into this business on the life side and really insurance in general, you're probably on a more likely than not a high commission or a straight commission setup. And you're going to have to deal with costs of doing business like leads. You're also going to have to deal with what else? Chargebacks.
Yeah.
And you don't want to spend the money as it comes in. Learn how to live as if you were poor. Spend as little as possible. Build a bankroll. My challenge where it felt good for me was when I had $50,000 in the bank account. Like I felt a lot better. Like I could have a bad week and it wasn't going to financially destroy me. So
Hmm.
I would recommend everybody work to saving up a lot more money than you could think, because having a cushion or a bankroll, mentally it changes. You can be more relaxed because you just have more wiggle room.
Yeah.
So other than that, stay disciplined, work long hours, work hard hours. The biggest differentiator is not intelligence or connections in this business. It's the person who executes the fundamentals the longest. That's when those people pull away from the pack and see the most success. But it is probably a 5 to 10 year process. So embrace the suck. It's going to be rough, but there's
Yeah.
no easy way in life if you want to
Yeah.
have any sort of extraordinary level of success.
That's great. That's great advice, Dave. I think no matter even outside the insurance business, what you just said, I think you could take those principles to everything, like you said, just not quitting and keep at it for the long run, live below your means, and just really have that cushion to. I think if you do that with whatever job you're doing, I think that'll just make life a lot easier and better for you. So great advice, and yeah, so we can keep going, but I know you got things to do, but I really appreciate you taking time to come on and share with everybody a little bit about yourself. And so now when they go visit your channel, I think that you'll still see you in a different light too, just getting to know you a little bit. And I don't know
So
if you
yeah,
shared about yourself in any of your videos or not. I'm not sure if this is any of this stuff's new or not, but
Yeah, I'll throw this out there. If you guys are interested in learning more, if you go to YouTube, put in the Dig Agency or my name, David Duford, and then you'll go down the black hole of content to get more about what we do. Now, in my agency, we specialize in training agents newer experience to sell final expense remotely from home. The biggest difference with us is we provide the leads for free so
Yeah,
that you
that's
don't
great.
have to blow a bunch of money and take a chance on risk of not making money on leads. We do that whole thing for you. So you just sit and sell, and we basically cover the risk that's associated with coming into this business to start. You do have the ability later to buy your own leads, hire commission, all that stuff. And we don't do MLM. There's none of that MLM recruit people who recruit crap. All we care about is getting you to become a top producer. So to go there, my website's davidduford.com if you want more information on
Yeah,
our
that's
agency.
great. And I'll link the video. We just did a video, me and Dave, on his channel. I'll
Right.
link that below as well, so that'll take them to the YouTube channel, and then they can and then I think you said daviddefleur.com too, right? There's a lot of stuff on your website.
Yeah, go there, and we've got free training you can sign up for, like 30 plus hours of deep dive training, my free script and final expense. There's an overview video there on how our agency works. Lots of resources there if you'd like to learn more.
And I'm not an agent with Dave, just so people know, just to clarify, I'm doing this just because I really appreciated all the what he's given for free out to people, and just seeing, like I said, how he's been, how his presence on YouTube. A lot of people do know him and see him, so I wanted to kind of get a little more personal, to get to know you a little bit better. So thanks, Dave, for sharing that. And
And thank you.
I know some of that's personal, so appreciate sharing about yourself and taking time. So everybody, I hope this video, you guys enjoyed it. Go see Dave at his channel. And subscribe, like, whatever, keep supporting the channel so we can put more cool videos out and hopefully help you guys have more success in what you're doing as well. So thanks, Dave. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you, Ben. Take
All
care,
right,
man.
bye everybody. See
Bye.
ya.